between ankle weights and the handles, it feels pretty secure as far as it's not going to tip on me. So I think, oh, and when I started to actually start pivoting the whole thing, I just used the top of like an old coffee can that I let this rest on, so that the bottom of it isn't grinding like against some kinds of, you know, concrete or rocks or whatever, and it actually gives it a nice slick surface to go on, and it protects the cap on the bottom. So I think that's everything as far as like the setup. I've only got a couple more things I wanted to go through. These clamps, I just carry a little tool that it's actually, if you've ever seen one of those screwdrivers, you know, where there's like a Phillips and a standard head on each end, and then this thing plugs into the handle of the screwdriver. That's what this is, and it just fits over this bolt pretty nice. So it was the perfect size, and it was small and handy, so I keep it in my bag. And this just lets me tighten things up, because as I pack and unpack this, I kind of have to twist this and untwist it a little bit so that it fits in my bag. And these things loosen up over time, so you just crank them down a little bit every now and again. So that's this tool. Second tool, I would not be without some sort of a multi-tool. You'll have to cut, tighten, whatever. I would just carry that in your bag. The third thing, so this is a plumb bob. I'm just, here you go. So plumb bob on top of another one of these grips. The reason I do that is I put this on at the very top of the tripod when I'm shooting it, and I crank it out most of the way I want to go, and then just like, you know, any plumb bob point, it's going to hang, the thread's going to hang straight down, and it just helps me to kind of, it's one thing to line everything up, you know, on the ground, but obviously when these sections are fully extended, not everything, you know, it's not like it's a perfectly straight 100% of the time. So you may have to kind of do some tipping and stuff, some minor adjustments with either the length of the, oh, that I did forget one thing, the length of the legs or the angles or whatever. Speaking of the length of the legs, one thing I did do, once I figured out the kind of consistent angle that I wanted, I just put some electrical tape on this leg here to kind of serve as a marker. So I measured on all three legs, and then just put the electrical tape. And again, just kind of getting, you know, there's nothing that makes things come out at a consistent angle on the contractor's tripod. And there's not multiple sections either. There's only two. So a lot of times when you have multiple sections, you know, it's real easy to get a consistent leveled up thing without marks. But since I've only got two really long sections, I put some marks on. So I think that's everything, I hope. Sorry for the crappy video. I've tried to make nice videos on this, and it just takes too much time, actually. So if you have any questions about some of the stuff that I've used or any of the equipment, leave some notes in the comments, and I'll do what I can. And probably in another 3 or 4 months, I'll have another video out kind of going over some of the new things I'm doing. The biggest thing, I talked about how the Wi-Fi was working great. I don't know if it's because my camera was old, or maybe the heat, which is another reason I built this shield. But towards the end of the season when I was working on it, the Wi-Fi got really almost to the point of being unusable. So all I could really do was kind of like start the recording, and maybe like every 30 seconds I would get 5 seconds of video in here, and you know, it made it pretty impossible to kind of really do anything as far as monitoring. So that was another reason I built these arms, is because I would just line the camera up, and then wherever I'm looking, that's where I'm filming. And that actually worked pretty well, in addition to the fact that the remote head wasn't really fast enough from a pan perspective to keep up with the game. So word of caution on the Wi-Fi. You know, this camera is 4 or 5 years old. Could be that on a newer camera, almost every camera now has Wi-Fi on it. and they have the app, so your mileage may vary. At the beginning of the season, when I was shooting inside, and actually during the winter, it actually did work pretty good. There's about a 1 second lag, which does make filming a little bit hard. You kind of have to keep an eye on the monitor and keep an eye on the game and anticipate what's going to happen. But when I was getting a consistent signal, it wasn't that big of a deal. So, all right. Well, like I said, I hope this helps some people. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and have a good day, everybody. Thanks. Bye.